Hello, good evening, Fakafana DJ Gamer. Whew. How goes it? One day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day. Hello, Black Velvet. I'll get started in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. What do I think of the remake? It's not out. I mean, like, previews look good, but that's the best I can do. And it'll be a while before I play it, too. Let's give it just a little more time. Hello, Fool Arcana. Jacob's Ladder is getting a remake. I wonder which war they're gonna deal with. Well, of course you know that this means that Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 will therefore also need remakes. Ha 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 ha. Alright, I think it's about time to get started. This is gonna be weird because I'm saying the message that you're hearing me typing in just a moment, but the typing will get out first. But full disclosure, this stream is going to be closer to an hour long because I have a sore throat from MagFest and it hurts to talk, and I do not want to exacerbate that. So let me put that in writing as well. Hello there, Loco Dude. Alright, let's go. We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble, and we just completed a ridiculous chapter. So much is going down. So now, which character are we going to focus on for the second to last hour? I'm quite curious. Remember, we have Osawa, Maria, Achi, Kano, and Minorikawa, so I am curious to see what your votes are going to be. Because this could go anywhere with anyone. Who's it going to be? We concluded the last thing with Osawa. Oh my god! Minorikawa is all charred from the explosion. That's amazing. What a freaking nice touch. Does anybody else... Kano got there later. Achi wasn't close enough. Maria wasn't there. Or not close enough. That's a clever touch, though. I love that. Alright, so we have 1 vote for Maria. Hello, Catsith. 1 vote, yeah, for Maria so far. 2 for Maria. 1 for Minorikawa. Also, hello, Mev. So 2 for Maria, 1 for Minorikawa, 2 for Minorikawa. Hello there, Meowington. So 2 and 2. Do we have anybody else? Because right now it's tied between the 2 M's. Just kidding. 3 for Minorikawa. Who has just been told that Toyama killed himself, even though... Or, no, not killed himself. Was in the car that exploded, which we know is not true. But he doesn't know that. So Minorikawa? Alright, let's go. Minorikawa needed to get back to the editing office right away. But despite the urgency, he barely stumbled along. He was swaying on his feet. Hello there, Insane Buffoon. Only half aware of where he was even going. No, this is all some sick joke. He just couldn't accept that Toyama was dead. He let out a lifeless sigh. A cynical smile crept onto his face. The man always did insist on having his own way. But killing himself. Back when he was still a novice reporter, Minorikawa had written a piece about a middle school girl who'd committed suicide. The school made a statement denying that bullying had been a factor, and so most of the media had reported that she had suffered a nervous breakdown over entrance exams. A period of mental illness manifesting as panic disorder, stress-induced anxiety, or the like. The term is commonly used to refer to serious health issues such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, manic depression, as well as the buildup of more minor stresses as part of everyday life. Because it is so broadly and vaguely defined, it is generally avoided in psychiatric contexts. But something about the case had kept nagging at him. Had her death really been a suicide? The more people he interviewed about the incident, the more his doubts grew. The City News editor, however, would not allow him to conduct a follow-up investigation. And the reason why was simple. This was the sort of thing that happened every day. They couldn't waste time on a case that was already on the books. It was more important for a reporter to find new stories than to squander time engrossed in a case that was old news. Minorikawa understood the editor's decision well enough, but that didn't mean he had to like it. He'd been sulking up on the roof, slowly nursing a cigarette, when the paper's local news copy editor, Toyama, happened to drop by. At a newspaper, an employee who evaluates the quality and suitability of reporters' copy and coverage. Effectively the boss of a group of reporters. However, the copy editor typically works under a section editor who has the final say about what makes the page. A middle management position caught between upstart reporters and an angry section chief. Hello there, Dragon Ace. Did they say no to the follow-up interviews? Toyama asked. About that girl's suicide? The name of the girl who killed herself was Chiharu Fuyutsuki. After reading her diary, Minorikawa became convinced it wasn't an ordinary suicide. 6 years from now, Minorikawa will run into a certain teacher, and the investigation into the student's death will be reopened, but that's another story for another time. Really? Huh. Yeah. Minorikawa expelled a plume of his smoke along with his sigh. Nothing tasted quite as bad as a cigarette when he was down in the dumps. So what are you going to do? I'm not going to do anything, Minorikawa said. Editor told me no. Oh? Editor said not to? You sound like a child. The rebuff made Minorikawa's temper flare. There are other interviews to do. I want to follow up on this, but there isn't any time. Damn. You dumbass! Toyama hauled off and hit him right across the face. What happens to I write about what I feel in my heart? That's the one thing I refuse to back down on. What happened to the guy who used to bitch at me like that? Toyama's words hit their mark with painful precision. The interviews aren't over until you have what you need. No, you refuse to let them be over. You go after the truth no matter what anyone tells you. Isn't that what being a journalist is all about? Minorikawa scowled in chagrin. The man was exactly right. Until you have what you need. Those words had stuck with Minorikawa ever since. In fact, he'd quit the paper to become a freelancer because he couldn't do his job the way he wanted while trapped in that hierarchy. Now he wondered, what if Toyama hadn't killed himself, but had instead been the victim of a terrorist attack? But after considering the idea for a moment, he thought bitterly, so what? The reasons and the details hardly mattered at this point. What mattered was that Toyama was dead. Minorikawa sat down listlessly and stared up at the sky. The blank swath of blue made him feel all the more worn out. Just what had all the days running around been for? He felt so empty, so hollowed out by loss. All his motivation had drained away. He had no idea what he should do next. Hey, Minoru Minorikawa, what should you do? He tried to listen to his inner voice. You've forgotten your passion. You need to get that back. Stand up. Right now, you just need to forge ahead. I don't know if there's much of a difference as far as gameplay progression is concerned, but what are people interested in saying? Passion, or just go keep moving? A or B, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have any takes on this? I'm curious. Like, I think it's a non-choice, but who knows? So we have one vote for B. Music's pretty appropriate. 2 for B, 1 for A. Do we have any more? If not, then I'll just bounce along. Two for A now. 3 for B. Punch my brain in the flank. Ha! 4 for B. Looks like B's got this one. Stand up. Right now, you just need to forge ahead. Yeah. That was his only option, really. He couldn't just let things end like this. And he still didn't have what he needed for his articles, so Minorikawa took a deep breath, readying to get back on his feet. Before he could, however, a young man stumbled across his path, taking a nasty fall on the pavement. Ow! Oh, damn, that hurts! The youngster scrambled back to his feet and turned to Minorikawa with a snarl. Really? What are you looking at, pal? The young man clutched a piece of timber like a club. There was a nasty gleam in his eyes. I'm not looking at anything, Minorikawa sighed. I just happened to be looking in your direction. Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? Oh no, I do not bite my thumb at you, but I do bite my thumb, sir. Shut your yap. Apologize, bitch. Now. The punk raised his cudgel. What for? You tripped me, man. Ain't you gonna apologize for that? The kid had stumbled all on his own, but was probably too embarrassed to admit it. Guess he's gotta vent his anger at someone. Listen, kid, Minorikawa said. It's not my fault you're such a klutz. Remember that time Japanese used Yiddish? You know, like the pedal in a car that's got manual transmission? Oh, that's a clutch. Okay, so then like lumps of earth or clay? Oh, those are clods, you say? Right, so then we're talking about a sort of social get-together for coffee and conversation? Huh. Oh, right, that's a clutch. Never even heard of that. Is it when you try to fix something using stuff that isn't really meant for that purpose? That's a kludge? Okay. What the hell even is this? It's freaking genius. The hell you just say to me? You got a death wish, pal? With a murderous glare, the punk advanced at him, on him, brandishing his weapon. "Hey," Minorikawa said. "Is it fun hitting people with that thing?" Alright, I'm sorry. Bring it on. Ladies and gentlemen, immediately the third choice of the stream. Not sure if sarcastic, apologize, aggression. A, B, C. What's it gonna be? With this, like, haze music. So, any options, ladies and gentlemen? We have A. Is there a way to save Toyama? Meowington, it's highly unlikely that he's dead. 2 for C. Three for C. Mino, pounce. 1 for B. 4 for C. C's taking over. Bring it on. Well, the punk swung his wooden club without a moment's hesitation. It struck Minorikawa on the shoulder, knocking him off balance. Whoa, okay, don't really bring it on. Nah, man, it's too late for takebacks. Damn. With a nasty little grin, the young fellow swung again, then again, catching Minorikawa in the arm and side. Is this just a straight-up bad end? Only when the journalist was curled up in a battered ball on the ground did the kid finally let up. Okay. Good to get a little warm-up in before I take down that other bitch. Yeah, this guy's totally looking for Achi. Weapon still in hand, the punk marched off toward Dogenzaka. Well, that sucked. Hey, are you okay? Minorikawa stirred to find Kimitsuka at his side. Once again, the man had impeccable timing. Working for the King Kong Company. Do you need a ride somewhere, maybe, sir? The driver asked. Yeah, for real, the Fool Arcana. Those eyes on the punk. Keeping his tone polite. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, I do. To the hospital. Slow text? Is this a bad end? Oh, is this straight up a bad end? That's kind of great. We just immediately ruined our playthrough. Pummeled! A hot-headed young punk gave Minorikawa a beating bad enough to send him to the hospital. Maybe a reporter friend shouldn't be quite so confrontational with this fellow. That's kind of funny. Like, I guess what did you expect, right? Minorikawa's really got to stop picking fights. He did it with Miku, this guy, and Shizuo, who's like a judo practitioner. Well, that didn't work. Hey, I know. Let's try again. So, A or B, ladies and gentlemen, what's it going to be this time? Sort of roundabout, or just straight up apologize? Yeah, right, Fakafan. Is it a bad end, he asks. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. It's just funny to do it so early. So, what is it going to be? Is it fun, hitting people with that thing? Alright, I'm sorry. A again. Full reporter mode. Any other votes? B. A. B. 2 and 2. Any more? Three for A, okay. Any more? Alright, A it is. The corner of the punk's mouth curled up. Oh yeah, real fun. Only a dumbass beats people with their bare hands. You just wind up hurting your fists. If you're going to enjoy some violence, you gotta have yourself a weapon. Aha, I see. In that case, maybe give it a rest with that stick, yeah? Huh? What for? The punk scowled in irritation. But don't get me wrong, Minorikawa said. I'm just saying there have to be better weapons than that. Something that could take a man down in a single blow? The kid stopped to consider Minorikawa's words for a moment. I getcha. Yeah, you might be right about that. And I think I have just the thing. May as well go with my usual. Okay, I think we just screwed over Achi's story right now. He tossed away the piece of wood on the side of the road. Don't you go anywhere till I get back. Got it? Yeah, sure thing. Minorikawa watched as the punk headed back the way he'd come. Man, he murmured, what a dumbass. Looking around, he spotted a taxi parked close by. We absolutely screwed Achi over. Royally. It was Kimizuka. Do you need a ride, sir? Kimizuka asked, all politeness, as he opened the back door. If you're heading to that publishing office again, I could get you there in 10 minutes. Yeah, right, Fool Arcana. Minorikawa knows about so many dojos, but I guess never went to one. Kimizuka's driving was as smooth as always. He wove his way skillfully through a series of back streets. There was some big explosion earlier, he explained. The main roads are all gridlocked. Yeah, Minorikawa muttered. I was there when it happened. Oh wow, really? I'm glad to see you're not hurt then. Still, what a terrible thing. That minivan. I hear someone was inside when it exploded. I'm not sure if you were aware. Yeah, I'm aware. Oh-ho. Nothing gets past a reporter like you, I see. Kimizuka flashed Minorikawa an approving smile through the rearview mirror. Yeah, for real, Dragon Ace, this is like the best taxi driver ever. How much have you heard then? Rumor has it that the person who died was a middle-aged man. Oh. Huh. We taxi drivers tend to hear quite a bit ourselves. Kimizuka chuckled, but Minorikawa just cast his eyes down forlornly. You look tired, sir. Yeah, I guess so. His reply was barely audible. Suddenly, someone rushed out into the street right in front of the cab. Look out! Whoa. There was a heavy thunk as the taxi crashed into the pedestrian. When I said we'd screw Achi, I didn't mean this way. Screeching to a halt, Kimizuka and Minorikawa jumped out of the vehicle to find a young man splayed out in the street. Hey, the driver called. You alright? The fallen pedestrian was practically still a kid, and he wasn't moving. Kimizuka hunkered down and jostled his shoulder, then his expression stiffened in alarm. Minorikawa checked the young man's pulse, but couldn't detect any heartbeat. God damn, dude. Oh no, Kimizuka said. This is... Tears began to well up in his eyes. Minorikawa turned to him in surprise. You knew him? I did. Kimizuka cradled the young man in his arms. I'm sorry, but you'll have to find yourself another taxi, he said. I'm going to turn myself into the police. What? Looking down at the boy... Oh, cause he hit him. Yeah, that's... Wow. Looking down at the boy's unmoving form, Minorikawa felt a pang of guilt. No, he said. I'm the one who's been asking you to drive around so recklessly all day. This is on me, too. But... I'll go with you to the cops. God damn, dude. The two men decided to head to the station together to surrender themselves. Yeah, honestly, Meowington, I thought he was okay because there was no blood. This game has no qualms about blood. There probably wouldn't be time to work on writing articles while they were being interrogated. But that was just how it'd have to be. This was the right thing to do. Minorikawa just had to keep telling himself that, knowing that it was the truth. Damn. Two bad ends just immediately as a result of a choice. So forget the kid going for a bigger weapon, god damn. That said though, I wonder if Achi's actions would be different and we're still supposed to tell the other guy to go for a bigger weapon? I don't know. Surrender to the police. Minorikawa's day ended in disaster when the taxi he was riding in hit a young man, Achi, who ran out into the street. But why did the kid rush out in the intersection like that? The answer lies in Achi's story. So maybe we did choose correctly, but we should play Achi first, I don't know. Just to see what happens. I'm sorry. Getting dragged into a street fight was not what he needed right now. It was better to just apologize and be done with it. Should have shown me that kind of respect from the start. The punk shook his head, muttering under his breath. Another dumbass gotta get taught some manners. Okay. With that, the young thug headed off in the direction of Dogenzaka. Huh. Minorikawa looked around. He noticed a taxi idling nearby. Oh. I can't skip this part. Hello, Kevin. We got there. The taxi stopped outside of Heaven Publishing. Wow. But again, we probably were supposed to do stuff with Achi. Minorikawa left a 1,000 yen bill on the seat and exited the cab. He was stumbling his way toward the building when someone called out to him. Mr. Minorikawa? Hmm? Oh, wow. For a moment, Minorikawa didn't recognize the man now idling his sedan at the curb, but when he took a closer look, he realized it was Kenji Osawa. Oh, Mr. Osawa. Sorry, but I haven't been able to look into that thing you asked about yet. I see. That's quite alright. Osawa looked pale and haggard. Minorikawa's reporter sense started tingling. This guy is the key to something. He recalled what he heard the detective and his buddy talking about back at the scene of the explosion. Yeah, Dragon Ace, we didn't talk as long to the kid. And we also didn't send him on a detour. Roughly 8 hours ago, they infected Maria Osawa with the UA virus. If we don't administer Kenji Osawa's antiviral before she develops symptoms... You're caught up in something big, aren't you? How do you know that? Because, the reporter said simply, I'm Minoru Minorikawa. Yeah, really, Meowington, the only game where you're excited for every character crossover? Osawa rolled his eyes. Well, that'll make this simpler, I guess. Get in. I'll tell you everything. So maybe we don't want this. I don't know. Minorikawa hesitated. This might be his big chance to land a beyond incredible scoop. Yet it felt like it was too late to matter. Still, landing a major story, selling out an issue of 4-star General Gossip, and putting Heaven Publishing on the road to solvency, all that was the least he could do in Toyama's memory. You don't drop a story until you have what you need. Maybe it was too late to save Toyama, but Minorikawa got in the car. Osawa's tale was beyond anything Minorikawa had imagined. So, they send you threatening emails, devise a plan to kidnap your daughter in order to get the antiviral, and now that that's failed, they're turning to bioterrorism. Finally, Minorikawa was able to flesh out the story behind the conversation he'd overheard earlier. Hello, Dracologist. And as he did, he could feel a growing sense of exhilaration. So basically, they're now effectively holding all the people in Shibuya hostage and demanding the antiviral. Is that it? Before Osawa could answer, a new idea occurred to Minorikawa. Wait, hold on. Why didn't they just start by holding the whole city hostage? Why do they need to go through all the trouble of kidnapping your daughter? I don't know, Osawa said, shaking his head. Perhaps they wanted the ransom money? For a mere 50 million yen? I can't imagine international terrorists bothering for that much. You can't know how terrorists think, Osawa spat. Well, let's just assume, though. Could there be some other reason they abducted your daughter? Osawa didn't reply. He was probably too preoccupied with finding a way to save his infected daughter to think about anything else. Still, something about the course of events didn't quite add up to Minorikawa. But whatever the case, if the criminals were after this antiviral, then sticking with Osawa ought to bring him closer to the truth. Minorikawa was still mulling that over when they arrived at the laboratory. What? The two men hopped out of the car and were immediately rushed by a pair of security guards who subdued them in a matter of moments. Hey, Minorikawa protested. What the hell is this? Unhand me, Osawa yelled. I'm Kinji Osawa. This is my lab. But evidently that didn't matter to the guards. Oh no, the other boss. Another man emerged from the building. He and Osawa exchanged a few brief words. Judging from the tone of the conversation, this was someone who outranked Osawa at the company. Take him away. As the newcomer looked on, the guards dragged Osawa into the building. Hey! Minorikawa shouted at the man as he began to walk away. Don't you know what's going to happen to Shibuya? Don't you care? If you just stand by and let the people of this city die, Okoshi Pharmaceutical is going to be held responsible. The man stopped in his tracks. And if that happens, you'll be ruined personally, too, Minorikawa added. You know I'm right. That will be up for the police to decide. You're going to regret this. Don't be a fool. Minorikawa's resolve was unwavering. His pen would mete out justice. He might have come close to forgetting what he'd once stood for, but now the old fire was back. I see. It seems this isn't something to leave unchecked. The man gestured with his jaw. Take him as well. More security guards surrounded Minorikawa. Hey, stop it. Let me go. But though he struggled fiercely, there was no escape. Once he was dragged through those laboratory doors, Minorikawa never wrote another article again. God damn! That is a bad end. Wow, dude. Alright, well now I know the correct bad end to go to. Detained to the lab. Hello there, Chris. Detained to the lab. Minorikawa accompanied Osawa to the lab, but there was no getting past the security guards, and even if Osawa can't get into his own lab, there's no real reason to go there. It's Osawa who needs to decide on a different course of action here. Damn, that's awesome. Okay. Alright, so what are we going to do? Osawa and Achi, you know, affect Minorikawa's story. But there's also Kano and Maria. So, whom should we play as? Osawa, Maria, Achi, or Kano? Because Minorikawa is at an impasse. Yeah, Fakafan, I will go to the other Minorikawa option. Good call. Hello there, Spectral Star. Alright, so we have, 1 for Achi. No, 2 for Achi, 2 for Kano. That's what it is. 1 for Maria. 3 for Achi. It's looking like Achi. I'm happy to do that one. Inside the van. Achi could hear ambulance and police sirens wailing on the main road. He looked down at Hitomi, slumped on a park bench beside him. "You're sure you're not hurt?" he asked quietly, offering her a bottle of water. Okay, so she regained consciousness, I guess? "I'm okay." Hitomi took a sip from the bottle. "Thanks. I think I've managed to calm down some." Some of the color had finally returned to her face. So, Achi began hesitantly. "Inside that minivan?" Maria wasn't in there. There was relief in her voice, but also a note of pathos. I got a look into the windshield. There was a man laid out in the back seat, but nobody else. So I guess that was the opening cutscene of the entire game, right? That one person tied to the minivan with the countdown timer? That's amazing. The dark cloud lifted from Achi's face. And yeah, really, Fakafan, she took that explosion like a champ. So it wasn't your sister? No, I didn't see his face. Just that he was wearing a business suit. Achi felt the tension ebbing from his body. Well, that's good then, that it wasn't her. I've been worried. It was a shame about the poor devil who had been killed, though. Who was it, and why had he been there? So, I guess now we're out of leads. Hitomi murmured. She hung her head. No, Dracologist. Kanan did not drag Hitomi away. She, like, body blocked the explosion for Hitomi and maybe moved her away a little bit. So I guess she kind of dragged her away, but then Kanan was out of commission. We could try the surveillance center again for now, Achi said. Sorry. I hope I remember to edit this out, actually. In fact, you know what? I'm going to open a little document to give myself some hints. I apologize for the delay. Give me just one moment. I can always cut this part out. It'll be easy. What is my time right now? Okay. Alright, that ought to do it. It'll probably give us better odds of finding your sister than just walking around. I guess you're right. Shall we then? Hold on. Achi had a sudden flash of inspiration. My house is a lot closer from here. Maybe I should ask my dad if we could check the camera from home. You can do that? Oh, hello there, Michael. We have the same system at our house. I'm sure my dad will let us use them. It? Okay. The two got up and headed for Endo Electronics. Achi decided to let his father know they were coming. He turned on his phone as they walked along. He'd had it off for a while, so first he checked his voicemail. There was one message. Wondering who might have called, he played it back. Is this Achi Endo's personal cell phone? This is Dr. Saeki from Shibuya Central Hospital. Oh god, the sister. No wonder he was running. Seiichi Saeki, heart specialist and Suzune's attending physician, a preeminent surgeon who has successfully performed the Batista procedure, wherein the left ventricle is reconstructed after a third of it has been removed. Really? I thought that the Batista procedure was catching references that would otherwise have gone over your head. Huh? Huh? Anybody? Huh? I'm clever? Huh? Achi's expression stiffened. He pressed the phone closer to his ear. There's been a sudden change in Suzune's condition. Oh god. I tried calling her home as well, but got no answer. Achi felt the edges of his vision growing dim. As her brother, it would be good if you can come to the hospital as soon as possible. Oh god. It's... Achi? Hitomi's voice was full of concern. Sorry, I just gotta make a call here. Fingers trembling, Achi dialed his house. The phone rang several times before switching over to the answering machine. Damn it. Where the hell are you, Dad? What's wrong? Hitomi asked. It's Suzune. It sounds like things have gotten pretty bad. Well, then we need to get to the hospital right away, Hitomi said. She sounded as anxious as Achi was. We can't go yet. Achi shook his head quietly. First, we have to save your sister. Hitomi bristled angrily at that. What are you talking about? She grabbed Achi by the arm and shook him. Right now, you need to be thinking about your sister. I can't. I made a promise to Suzune. A promise to help people and see things through to the end when something important is on the line. Yeah, for real, Fool Arcana and an Insane Buffoon, this chapter's freaking rough. He struggled to get the words out. If I break that promise, then I really am no good to her. But Hitomi didn't look like she was going to back down. Oi, get back here! Oh god, a threatening shout rung out from nearby. Achi looked around, startled, and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on a side street. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Achi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They caught their quarry just before he could make it out into the main road. Heh, gotcha, newbie. So the kid they were after must have been a member too. Let me go! Oh, we'll let you go alright. After you pay up. One of the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of a nearby building. Ow! The boy's face scrunched up. What are you talking about? Playing dumb, huh? Interjected one of the onlookers. We told you that members all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? What are you, like loan sharks from Yakuza? The privilege of getting to call yourself SOS don't come free, after all. Achi felt his blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown on this new kid under the guise of calling it dues. Slang for extortion. A full-fledged crime. Naturally, the direct shakedown, gimme all your money, punk, is quite unpleasant, but more roundabout ways of being shaken down could still leave a bad taste in one's mouth. Someone who was surrounded on the street by 8 people in pompadours who said, "Begging your pardon, but could you please hand over your money," might suffer no physical harm, but would still be the victim of a shakedown. Ha! It would have been unthinkable for them to do something like this back when Achi was running the show. Hey, he barked. Let the kid go. He marched toward the group. Say what now? They turned to look, their faces immediately going pale. Oh, hey, Achi. Let him go. Achi focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Aw, shucks. Hey, Achi turned to the younger boy. Since when have they been doing this? But of course he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Never mind, you can go. Achi gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Achi waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Suzumu know you're going around collecting dues like this? He asked. Man, we don't gotta tell you that, one of them muttered. Not since you deserted. What did you just say? Achi leaned in close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer. This ain't the old SOS anymore. Not the old SOS? Achi thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier, with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy had a stare of death for real. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu? Back when Achi had been with SOS, he'd never have let a guy like that get away with acting all high and mighty. Now it seemed like all these young fellows were ready to follow suit, eager to take him down a peg. You're old news, pal. Ain't your business to tell us how to do things. Achi felt a confusing flood of anger and sadness that he couldn't quite control. I'm not messing around here, you guys. He grabbed the nearest punk by the collar and hefted him up in the air. Damn. Then someone shouted from behind him. Hey, what are you doing? Achi put the guy down and turned around to see Suzumu standing there. Mind telling me just what's going on here, Achi? Suzumu flashed his underlings a sharp glare. They immediately took to their heels. Damn. Achi wasn't about to just let them go. He raced after them. Just what the hell was going on with SOS? Achi needed to talk to Suzumu. I'm thinking B is the correct answer here, but A might give us a first-person perspective of the bad end. So who knows? What is your choice, people? Dragon Ace, I forgot why Achi left SOS. Maybe it was to help people and not be in a gang, but I actually don't remember. I just know that Suzumu was furious because Achi said everyone gets one free promise, but he didn't deliver on Suzumu's request to stay in the organization. So yeah, A or B. We have one vote for B. Any more? 2 for B. 3. Yeah, really, Fakafan. Do we really want to see Yachi get hit again? Good question. Apparently the answer is no, because it's 5-0 right now. Alright, B it is. I asked what was going on here. There was a threatening note in Suzumu's voice. That's what I want to know. What the hell's happened to SOS, man? Suzumu's face twisted with displeasure. You're an outsider now. That's none of your business. I don't give a damn if it's my business or not. When I left you in charge of SOS, You shut your damn mouth, Suzumu roared. Yeah, that's right. You left me in charge. And don't you dare give me any lip about how I run things. Yeah, Michael. Send me out an SOS. It does kind of pop in my head a bit whenever I see the abbreviation as well. His sudden ferocity left Achi at a loss for words. You're not the one busting your ass out here. I am. Suzumu stalked toward Achi, his face red with emotion. I've had to work so hard to keep things going with you gone. Do you have any idea what it's been like? Do you know what I've had to put myself through to keep SOS together? Hey, Dada. There was nothing Achi could say to that. He just kept his mouth shut and let Suzumu talk. You were gone. I thought maybe I could do things like you did. That anime shot. All at once, Suzumu seemed to deflate a little. He hung his head, hiding his face. And if I couldn't be like you, then... Hey man, I get it. And I'm sorry. But Suzumu kept his face averted. Please, he muttered. Stay out of our business. Then he turned on his heel and headed off without looking back. Damn. Achi watched him leave, feeling a painful sting. Rough. Achi, Hitomi asked after Suzumu was gone, are you sure you're okay leaving things like this? Achi shrugged heavily. Suzumu said he's doing what he can. It's not my place to butt in. He turned his back on Hitomi. He still needed a moment. Achi, you're being unreasonable. About what? He felt like he'd been wounded to his very core, and he wasn't sure what to do about it. You want to help people who are in trouble, right? Hitomi asked quietly. Yeah, I guess. Achi's voice was glum. Well, I'm in a whole lot of trouble right now. Yeah, I know that. No, Achi, you don't. Hitomi's tone was clipped and firm. Please, go to your sister. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter now. Yes, it does. Hitomi's shout stopped him in his tracks. Achi, right now the thing I'm having the most trouble with is that you won't get to the hospital. Don't you get it? How can I possibly be happy with you helping me if you don't have to if you have to sacrifice your own sister to do it? Achi couldn't answer that, and he knew it. Please, go to the hospital. I'm asking you to, and I'm definitely someone in trouble, so it doesn't count as breaking your promise, right? I appreciate that, Achi said softly. And I'll remember it when this is all done. So yeah, how about we drop by the hospital for a bit? Interesting. Interesting. When Achi got hit, he was by himself, but I don't know if this is the same time frame as with Minorukawa, so I'm actually not sure which one to go for. Any idea? A, we go alone, B, we go with Hitomi? Because for all we know, the previous choice could have led to getting hit by the car. Now I'm not even sure. I wonder if the game, like, double bluffed me. 1 for B. Two. 3. One for A. 4 for B. It seems like we're going with B. The emotions Achi had been trying to hide now came welling to the surface. We'll go see Suzune, and after that, we can go look for your sister. Would that be okay with you? Sorry. Let's do that. I'll edit it in post. Alright. Back to the game. That would be more than okay with me. And at long last, Hitomi smiled at him. Okay. Back in sync with each other, Achi and Hitomi headed to the hospital. Keep out? Nope. Alright. Shibuya Central Hospital was one of the foremost general hospitals in Japan, outfitted with top-notch medical facilities and staffed by highly skilled personnel. Individuals like Suzune with rare blood types were sent to the hospital from far and wide because of its cutting-edge hematology center. The hospital division that deals with blood. Its goal is to provide high-end care to patients with blood disorders, including blood screening, treatments, transfusion, the management and supply of blood products, and other related services. Hello there, Bear Pig. Achi asked Hitomi to stay in the waiting area while he headed on into the hospital proper. From the visitor's entrance, he passed by the nurse's station, then entered the cardiovascular medicine section and walked along a row of examination rooms. The cardiovascular system includes the heart as well as the various blood vessels that circulate blood throughout the body. Cardiovascular medicine deals with heart and blood issues such as angina, heart attacks, I was going to say a freaking enigma, heart failure, irregular pulse, and the like. He walked by the first room as quietly as possible, catching sight of a mother and daughter sitting together in chairs in the hallway. The mother was crying softly. "Oh, Takuya, he's only 15, she murmured under her breath. Wow, dude, this is... I know this was already addressed in the chat a while ago, but this is really a downer of a chapter. The name Takuya didn't ring a bell. It was the only 15 that got a reaction out of Achi. Only 15? He couldn't imagine anything good coming after that. Yeah. To be cruelly taken away when one was still so young. Achi could feel the woman's pain as deeply as if it were his own. When he reached Suzune's room, Dr. Saeki, the attending physician, explained her condition. The doctor did his best to keep his explanation simple, but Achi was too worked up to process much of what he said. He did manage to wrap his head around a few things. At around 10 o'clock that morning, Suzune had had a seizure. For a while it had been touch and go, but finally her condition had stabilized. However, since she hadn't regained consciousness yet, she wasn't allowed any visitors. That was the gist, as far as Achi could tell. "What's your father doing today?" "He still hasn't come by," Dr. Saeki said. Achi wasn't sure what to tell him. It was certainly odd. There was no way his father wouldn't have rushed right to the hospital if he'd heard Suzune had taken a turn for the worse. "I'll give you a call once she's woken up. For now, you can head on home for the day." "Alright. Please keep a close eye on her, Doctor." Somberly, Achi went to find Hitomi in the waiting area. Alright. Outpatient reception had closed for the day, leaving the hospital quiet. His footsteps echoed softly in the corridors. Then as he walked along, a particular sound drew his attention. It had come from over by the base of a nearby stairwell. Achi took a peek around the corner. Holy crap. Not sure if Kanon? The sight that greeted him nearly made him gasp aloud. In the dim light up ahead, he saw Kanan, and she had some white guy pressed against the wall, a knife to his throat. Stanley? Archie quickly yanked his head back out of view. Could it be? Was this the man Kanan said she was after? Archie had to resist the urge to go charging out there. Some amateur heading in half-cocked might well be more of a liability to Kanan than any sort of help. He heard her mutter something to the man in English. Damn, I'll never know what it is. I don't know English. We know nothing about Alphard's background, nationality, sex, age. Archie could just barely make out the words, but since it was all in English, he had no idea what they meant. But we do know that whoever they are, they have connections to Langley. Slang for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Oh, headquartered in Langley, Virginia. I didn't even realize that. Similar to referring to the Japanese government as Nagatacho. The CIA has other nicknames, including the Company. That actually sounds really intimidating. The Agency, the Second Government, the Invisible Government, and the Coup Makers. God damn! The Invisible Government, holy crap. Archie peeked out again, very cautiously, in time to see the man raise an eyebrow at Kanan's words. Interesting. That doesn't mean you need to threaten me at knife point, though. He flashed her a thin smile. It does, actually, because I happen to know that you're a CIA agent. Technically known as officers, the CIA refers to its own spies as agents. Someone in charge of directing agents is called a case officer. Case officers are stationed at embassies across the world in the public guise of diplomats, soldiers, and the like. No sooner were Kanan's words out than the man grabbed her arm and tried to hurl her against the wall. Just before her head connected, though, she jackknifed her upper body forward, then planted both feet against the wall and kicked off with tremendous force. God damn. Jesus. She used her momentum to launch herself forward, regaining her position with her knife against the man's throat. But during his brief opening, the man had managed to draw a gun from inside his jacket. Now the barrel was pressed right against Kanan's heart. Jeez. Archie swallowed the lump in his throat. How about we call a truce, Kanan said softly. She withdrew her knife. Yeah, sounds like you and me are both after the same thing. Aye, but alright. The man likewise lowered his gun. With a faint smile, Kanan turned her back on him and vanished down the adjacent stairwell. Archie had no idea what had just happened. They'd stopped fighting though, so this guy probably wasn't Kanan's mastermind after all. If only Archie spoke a little English, he might have been able to follow their conversation. He found himself wishing he'd taken school more seriously. When he looked again, he saw that the man too had disappeared. Holy crap, dude. Hitomi stood up from her chair as Archie hurried to the waiting area. How's Suzune? She asked. For now, she's not in any immediate danger, they said. Well, that's good to hear. But more importantly, Kanan was here just now. What? Why? I'm not sure. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. What are you, Okoyasu? Huh? Anybody? Huh? Okay, I'm moving on. Archie slumped his shoulders. Huh? What? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Exactly. I couldn't understand anything she was saying. Hell, he couldn't even figure out how to get through to Hitomi. May I have a moment? A voice spoke unexpectedly from behind Archie. Jesus! His breath caught in his throat as he turned around. Standing there was the man Kanan had been struggling with. What's up? Archie asked. He tried to sound as nonchalant as possible. But the man wasn't looking at Archie. You're Hitomi Osawa, is that right? Yes? Hey, Archie snapped, keep your distance. He stepped protectively in front of Hitomi. This guy, he's not what he looks like. Archie clenched his fists and adopted a defensive posture. Archie is a born fighter, but this is Stanley, though. Hello, Ichigo Berry. Huh? Hitomi seemed panicked. Archie said, this might be the person Kanan was warning us about. Well, we know that's not true, but it might take us in an interesting direction. I don't know who he is, but he's not our friend. Oh, so either way? I don't know, though. A or B, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, right, Spectral Star. Mr. Anderson. We missed you. Did you get my package? Well, good. So yeah, A or B. I hate this hospital, this zoo, this prison, this reality, whatever you want to call it. I can't stand it any longer. It's the smell, if there is such a thing. Hello there, Luke. So we got 3B, 1A, 4B, 5B. Oh, B is steamrolling this. I don't know who he is, but he's not our friend. The man calmly reached into his jacket pocket. Fearing he might be about to draw his gun, Achi braced for action. I still can't get over the ambassador is John Hancock. Like, actually John Hancock. That has to be some kind of in-joke. My name is Jack Stanley. I'm a security assistance officer with the U.S. Embassy. Achi held back his punch as the man held out his ID card. Diplomats are issued diplomatic passports and diplomatic ID cards by their home governments. Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also issues its own form of diplomatic identification card. The CIA provides such identification to its operatives working overseas to help maintain their false identities. Embassy? What if someone from the U.S. Embassy went with me? Hitomi asked timidly. You're being targeted by a dangerous criminal. I'm here to take you into protective custody. Custody? Achi's temper flared. Buzz off, pal. We're busy here. Busy searching for Maria Osawa? Stanley asked. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. I know the full details of the trouble you currently find yourselves in. Well, all right then, Achi said. Look at that. Move over, George Miller, because that poster has the real happy feet. The hell am I freaking looking at here? Some, like, I don't know, something medical related, I'm sure. Then you should know we don't have time to get taken into custody. I'm afraid you don't understand the situation we're dealing with. We're up against a dangerous international criminal here. Taking reckless action is only going to put her life in danger. Don't be a fool. This is no time to play the knight in shining armor. Hey! Achi was infuriated, but he couldn't think of a comeback. You're the knight in shining armor. After all, it was true that Hitomi had run into danger time and again while she was with him. But I'm already safe, Hitomi insisted. I'm only here right now because Achi has been protecting me. She eyed Stanley sharply. I've got Achi with me. I don't need your protection. Achi felt a surge of pride that practically brought tears to his eyes. If Hitomi would have let him, he'd have given her an enormous hug. Stanley grimaced in resignation. All right. In that case, how about I join your search for Maria? I can help keep you safe that way instead. I don't know. Hitomi grabbed hold of Achi's sleeve. This Stanley fellow didn't have the most trustworthy face, Achi thought, but he realized that he might be biased after being chased around by foreigners all day. Touché. After all, if this guy really were after Hitomi, he'd probably have already made a show of force. Not only did he have a gun on him, he was sufficiently skilled in martial arts to hold his own against Kanan. He'd have no trouble taking down a single unarmed opponent like Achi. Hitomi, I get the impression the Stanley guy is not our enemy right now. Hitomi gave a slight nod. Alright. I trust your judgment on this, Achi. Now then, what's the plan from here? Stanley asked. Not wandering aimlessly around town, I hope? There was a trace of snidiness in his voice. You can just keep your mouth shut, Achi replied. We can wander around town all day if we feel like it. Two could play the snarky game, he thought to himself. Poor Hitomi looked distressed. Very well. If that's what you want, I can stay quiet. But first, I need to inform the police that I have Miss Osawa in my custody. Wait, hold on, Hitomi blurted. That isn't a good idea. Stanley inclined his head. Why is that? Well, since you already seem to know most of the story, Hitomi quickly explained the kidnapper's threat and described the search for the minivan. Stanley remained quiet, listening with obvious interest. I see, he said when she'd finished. Still, when that minivan exploded, didn't that make your promise to the kidnappers a moot point? Hitomi nodded. I suppose it did, didn't it? Let me ask just one more question. Do either of you know a detective by the name of Tateno? No. We haven't run into any detectives. Yeah, exactly. The only folks we seem to run into are guys who are after Hitomi. I see. A grim expression crossed Stanley's face. Right. I'm going to get in touch with the investigation task force. I'll have them contact your parents for you. Would you mind speaking with them so they can confirm it's really you? Sure, alright, Hitomi said. Stanley got in his wireless and described their current circumstances to the police. Wow. Mr. Endo, hold on. Really? Suddenly Dr. Saeki appeared, running down the hallway. There's something I forgot to tell you. Regarding your father. Oh, Achi is Mr. Endo. Oh? Achi got a sinking feeling. I got a call from him yesterday afternoon, and he asked me something rather odd. Preparations for a transplant? I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're asking. Saeki clutched the receiver. Daisuke Endo's brooding tone was more than a little disturbing. No, it's alright, Endo said. This is all just difficult to talk about, Doctor. Please forget I said anything. There's only one important thing I wanted to let you know. Yes? There's going to be a brain-dead woman coming your way at probably around 9 o'clock this evening, I expect. Her blood type is Bombay. Bombay was the extremely rare blood type that Endo's daughter, Suzune, possessed. Any transplant donor for Suzune would also need to have the Bombay blood type. Since she has the same blood type as Suzune, the transplant itself isn't an issue, Endo continued. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether the procedure can be done within a limited time window. And I hate to trouble you, but I just called because I think it'd be best to prepare for the surgery as soon as possible. Wow. The more Saeki heard, the more disturbed he grew. It felt like he was listening to this man go on about some strange delusion. Doctor, please, just take good care of Suzune. With that, Endo hung up. Achi kept quiet as he listened to Dr. Saeki tell his story. Of course that was yesterday, and I still haven't heard anything about a brain-dead girl turning up. After all, only God would know when someone would wind up in a state of brain death. But still, there was just something very strange about what your father said. It was as if he were certain that someone was going to wind up brain-dead, or... Just stop right there, Achi exclaimed. Stanley and Hitomi turned in surprise. They were still in the middle of their wireless call to the police. Don't get me wrong, the doctor said hastily. I'm not trying to imply that your father would hurt anyone. What I'm worried about is your father's mental state and... No! Achi interrupted him again. That's not it. His own words from earlier spun within his head. Oh my god! Achi's father hired Cane Man, didn't he? That's why I knew Achi's name, because Achi's a nobody. So Cane Man was not trying to kill Hitomi. He was probably trying to render her brain dead. Wow, dude. That's gotta be it. So long as we have these cameras, this guy has nowhere to run. Oh my god. The security cameras. I'm sure this is the place. Jesus Christ. The man with the cane. He'd been on the phone with someone. That didn't mean anything. It was just a coincidence. It couldn't be true. Achi searched desperately for some other explanation. That was it. Anyone from the downtown committee could have used the camera monitoring room. Yeah, no one's been by to check today. Oh my god, it was coming from Achi's house. Nothing wrong with a little nap, yeah? No dice. No one from downtown had been by the surveillance room today. It couldn't be. It couldn't. Achi began to tremble. Is something the matter? Hitomi asked. Achi, you're pale as a ghost. Achi gazed beseechingly back into her face. With just one simple question, he could clear this whole thing up. please tell me I'm overthinking this. He prayed inwardly before asking. Hitomi? Would you mind telling me your blood type? Why do you ask? Please, just tell me. I have a sort of weird blood type, Hitomi said. It's called Bombay. Meowington, why not the orange suit guy with the cameras? No, the thing he was being shady about was that he picks up people's discarded items and sells them at his thrift shop. He's like a petty criminal. The last piece of the puzzle fell into place. There was no longer any room for doubt. So a terrorist organization and Achi's freaking father are hunting down Hitomi. There was no longer any room for doubt. Achi found himself facing a sad and painful truth. Why? Why? With an anguished scream, Achi punched the wall as hard as he could. But his fist still didn't hurt as much as his heart. Dad, why? Dracologist Maria has the virus injected, but Hitomi has the antiviral. That is some to be continued. God damn. Well, now we could theoretically go back to Minorikawa's story because Achi survived to the end of his. Achi's been having regular to-be-continues lately. Like freebies. Holy crap, dude. And yeah, what Fakafan said, good on the chat for calling it regarding Endo's father however many streams ago. That is bananas. And we have one more hour. I mean, we obviously have the other characters to play as, but as far as Achi's concerned, there's one more hour. Wow, dude. Wow, dude. This chapter has been miserable, like, literally the entire time. Like, I'm sorry. This stream was a freaking downer. It just, like, the whole thing. Jesus. Well, anyway, on that unpleasant note, thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a wonderful night. Okay, I normally don't do this. Normally I sign off right after saying have a wonderful night. But thank you for tolerating my coughing. I wanted to keep the stream closer to an hour tonight because I got con flu and I have a sore throat and it hurts to talk after a while and it hurts to swallow all the time. So I'm going to give myself a break. But at least we hit a good checkpoint. And this game, god damn. So yeah, thank you for tolerating the coughing. I'll try taking care of it in post. But have a good night ×2, everybody.